Welcome to the Hanshaw's Horizon podcast, where we explore learning science and all the tools you need to create a high-performance learning environment. During this podcast, we're going to dive into a day in the life of an instructional designer. Welcome to the Hanshaw's Horizon podcast, and today we are diving into how to stand out as an ID. And there are two traits that we have that I believe are the keys to standing out. So if you are an ID that thinks, this is what I do, this is in my job description, that's it, then move on from the video. This is not going to be for you. If you think that the organization owes you everything and the only training that you're going to do is whatever's paid by the organization, just move on now, because that is not how to stand out as an instructional designer. It is very simple. The key elements to stand out as an instructional designer or stand out in any organization for any reason whatsoever, just to be a standout individual within whatever field you're in. So let's kind of step back for a minute. And I always say that instructional designers, as a designer, we are a jack of all trades, master of none, but that's always better than a master of one. So with that said, we bring in a lot of value just by the large skill set that we bring into the organization. And that skill set, we think of all our skill sets on a continuum, like a needs assessment. Some of us we're on the lower end of the scale. Some of us are on the higher end. Some are in the middle. Employee validation testing, some low, some high, some middle. So where are you in all those different skill sets? Where are you on that continuum? And which ones is a good idea to start moving over to that expert level? Because we always want to continue to grow and continue to learn. And the more we grow and the more skills that we bring into the organization, guess what? The more value we bring, the more valuable we are. That is how to stand out. So priority one for us as an instructional designer, build relationships with stakeholders and colleagues. Our goal is to build authentic relationships. So I'm not talking about the fake relationships or just getting along with somebody because they can do something for us. We need to build legitimate relationships with stakeholders and colleagues. That means we have to put our ego aside, step in, how can I help? What can I do for you? So if you want to build good quality relationships, think of others first, you second, and then that's going to build that natural network of strong relationships. So when you do have to go back in and ask for something, guess what? They're more likely to say yes because you have authentically built a relationship with them. So we're not talking about building fake relationships. We're talking about building authentic relationships with stakeholders, colleagues, anyone involved within the organization. Your primary goal is to build those relationships. The second thing that you have to get really good at, and the first one is building relationships. The second thing that we need to be able to do to stand out is to adapt. You want to be able to adapt. And what does that mean? That means continually grow your skills. So if you see an opportunity, dive in and take it. Take that opportunity. You say, well, I don't have the skills for this, for that. You know what? You're going to gain those skills as you're learning. So utilize this as an opportunity to build your self-efficacy that, yes, I can do this because I can learn along the way as what I'm doing. And one example of this was when I was working for a large aerospace company. We did not have the internal skills, talent, expertise to look at our employment testing to ensure that we were doing everything exactly correct. We weren't able to validate our own tests, so we hired an external company, an external consultant to come in. So as soon as I heard external consultant, job check testing, employee testing, employment testing, guess what I did? I was like, oh, I am going to take everything that these people say and I'm going to learn, and I'm going to focus in on these key elements, and I'm going to go get educated myself and learn how to do this well. So what did that look like? Well, when the consultants came in and we had many different conversations with them, we were showing them our tests. They were kind of talking to us how they'd go through the test. I listened a whole lot more than I spoke because I wanted to take in all of their expertise. And when they said, key elements or key statements, key terms, I would go and I would study those on my own. So one instance, okay, we're going to do this. We see that you have these hands-on tests, so we're going to look at them and we're going to see if they are criterion valid. We're going to do a criterion validity study on these and see if they are valid measurements. Oh, okay. What does that mean? Well, then I would go after work on my own time and I would study and I would learn, okay, this is how to do a criterion study, a validity study. And then I would kind of take all that knowledge that I was learning there and continue to focus in on what they were teaching me as well and seeing where these two worlds connected. Because I wanted to be able to stand out and bring that expertise to the table for the organization. Because as I bring in expertise, my value goes up as well. So that is one way to do it. So the assessment process is huge. Program assessment. Not all of us are great at program assessment. So get good at program assessment. And specifically, get good at connecting program assessment to metrics that people care about. So how do we do that? Well, if you don't have the skills, there's plenty of content out there. Go get the skills. Go get the abilities to be able to do that. There's plenty of free content and paid content. So you don't want to wait for your employer, for the organization to say, hey, we need skills in this. We're going to send you to this class or we're going to open this up, whatever it may be. Because by the time that they're ready to cut loose with some budget, you want to be the one that is positioned the best to be engaged with that training, to be engaged with that program, whatever it may be. And the only way to do that is to position yourself as the emerging expert. So become that emerging expert. Let everybody know what you're studying. Share by building those relationships and seeing how what you're learning connects with what other people care about. Because that's important. That's an important part of any relationship. Make sure that you share what people actually care about and speak to it in a way that others care about it. So what matters to them. And that's hugely important, the way that we speak to others that we've built relationships with. Because when we're able to define problems, define solutions, and then communicate them in a way that matters to them, guess what? We've done something amazing. We've actually created a way that people can see into our ID world with a large amount of value. So I guess there's actually 3 traits. So the first trait, build authentic relationships with all stakeholders and colleagues. If you don't like somebody, well, that's on you. That's not on them. So if you just tend to say, hey, this person's this, get rid of your ego, move towards that person and build a legitimate relationship. It may only be at work, but make it legitimate because we all have to work together. And that's the thing, authentic relationship. So build that authentic relationship. And generally, if you don't want to build an authentic relationship, that's you getting in the way of yourself. I've done that many times, so I can say from experience that when I did not want to build a relationship with somebody, that was because of my own ego getting in the way. So I simply had to remove it. And once I removed it, it opened up an authentic relationship where we both had big gains from it, which was absolutely amazing. So relationship building, number 1. The second biggest thing we have to do is adapt. So if you see the need for a skill, dive in and get educated at it. Be the first one there. Be the first one that's able to speak intelligently about it if the skill set isn't already within that organization. Or if it is within the organization and you see a need for it to grow, get in there and grow it. Be that first person. Be vulnerable and take that opportunity to grow personally, because none of us are perfect at there is no such thing as a perfect ID. The skill set that we bring is too broad to have the perfect ID. We all have our broad skill sets and then expertise in different areas. I wouldn't say that many of us are masters at anything, but we do have a high level of expertise at many of the different parts within the talents that we bring to the organization. And then the third thing, communicate in a way that matters to others. So look from an other's perspective. I'm not saying change the message that you're sending, but I'm saying changing how you're connecting everything. So whatever matters to a C-suite executive, probably does not matter to the ID working within the learning and development department, right? The stocks, things like that, important to your C-suite executive. Are they important for the ID working within the learning and development department? Yes, but is that their primary concern? No, that's not their primary concern. Yes, it helps their 401k go, all this other good stuff, but they are more importantly worried about things like job stability, stuff like this. So how are we going to create all of that? So get really good at speaking and communicating in a way that matters to others when we are learning and growing all this stuff. So build relationships, adapt, and then communicate well. Those are the three things that can get you to stand out as an ID.